Well, shoot. I seem to have donated my Goosebumps books, so that doesn't help. Maybe I can reread Zombies of the Gene Pool, a delightful sequel to Bimbos of the Deaf Son. Gosh. I need to really read that because that sounds awesomely hilarious. Um, Back in the 90s, the author Arnold Stein would help us give us to the would give the world and children back in the 90s and in the 2000s goosebumps. Especially when it came to the books, because he would have, the original run.
First, Goosebumps books, where the terror began and the screams go on forever and ever. Then give yourself Goosebumps, the books where you choose from 20 different scary endings. And coming soon, Goosebumps triple header, 3 stories in one monstrous book.
2000, and then he would have a revival. He would have Fear Street, and all that, and then he would have say Goosebumps 2000, and then he would have a revival for Goosebumps Horrorland and all that. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the top 5, Goosebumps books from fans. So, like that little quote from the show that we all loved.
You will beware. You're in for a scare.
I mean, for this moment, it's probably not viewers, reader beware, but you get the gist. So let's look at number 5. I gotta say when I came to look back at it, it's also I'm gonna add my little perspective too. I think number 5 has to be Goosebumps Welcome to Dead House. In a way, it's a family who are in a way moving into a new town in a new community, and they're suddenly seeing and say, hey, it's very gloomy here, and the family dog goes missing and all that. So it has those classic spooky ghost story kind of vibes when it's revealed say, hey, all the locals and the community have all passed away. And as a adult, you kind of feel say, oh, a little bit of Sleepy Hollow, because everyone in the community is a ghost or something like that, or almost a zombie in a way. Yeah, I gotta say I remember this one really well. It's a fairly looking back, this is a book that I would go back to reading. Then again, say, I feel at any age, say, Goosebumps is a book series that you can just pick up and you go haha. You can laugh at it. You can go say, oof, ooh. And number 4 is Scarecrow Walks at Midnight. In this one, say the, basically it takes on a farm, and one thing that happens is scarecrows come to life. And then there's a sequence in which they're a kid goes say he has a mimic of a scarecrow in a way, because he's trying to say, okay, they're following what I do and all that. I remember this one. It was kind of strange too. Usually when it comes to Goosebumps, you have your strange ones, say the one where I think it was Goosebumps, a book where basically they discover a vampire in the basement, but then as the episode goes on, they reveal that they're a family of vampires, and the vampire they discovered was their grandfather and all that. Number 3 is Say Cheese and Die. It's in which say a young kid finds a strange camera in a and then basically discovers say whenever someone takes a picture of someone, suddenly say weird things start to happen, someone might get into an accident, or hey, it looks like they're hanging upside down. Well, suddenly later the character is gets hurt by something. like it has all those vibes you would uh, get from stories and films that would take place like later in the 2000s. They had this was like one of those episodes that stories that did get adapted into the a show. It had Ryan Gosling in it too.
Say cheese.
Cheddar. I hope you captured my incredible juggling skills.
Are you okay?
I think so. You guys, let's just get out of here, okay?
Um, it had like that classic image of the family as skeletons and all that, which I don't think that was in the book. I don't think it was, but it was an eye eye caption attention grabbing um cover. Number two, Monster Blood. Anyway, like say, remember back in the 90s, like there was so much stuff when it came to like you'd have Goofy Slime like from Nickelodeon and all that.
That one didn't age quite so well.
That, Gak and all that. Well, this one, it is like a slime that can grow into a blobby portion and then can eat people and all that. It's kind of like say the the story the blob that everything or the blob and all that. But for kids. I mean, this one had quite a few sequels with the return of Monster Blood in different stories. Now, this one was a bit difficult for me. I really think it was. And that either number one, for especially a lot of folks, it's either I'm stuck between, either, like, say, a day at Horrorland, like where a family gets, stuck in an amusement park full of monsters, but they think, like, say, not real. It's not real. It's all a gag or something like that. And everything, like, it's really very creepy. Like, they have, like, a slide where they get, or a coffins, like a coffin, a boat, and all that. And yeah, I can remember that one real. It's like, say, going to a theme park that's a bit too extreme in a way. It would end up getting its own, series too. But in my opinion, number one, that when we would help, start the whole entire series, is the Haunted Mask. And do you know why? Well, mostly it has the idea of like say, hey, everyone has that idea of like say, hey, I want to be something different. I want to be scary. I want to prove all those folks that who knew me, who like say, yeah, I can show you I'm not afraid or all that stuff. So Carly Beth gets a mask from a store because she wants the revenge against two boys in her class, anyway, in her school, who make her eat a sandwich with worms. So she gets the mask and wears it, and in a way, the fear not getting it to come off. And yeah, I think this one is such a classic. It even got a sequel to it, like with like say one of the bullies who later becomes Carly Beth's friend and all that. This one is a bit of a classic because this would be the when it comes to adaptation. This is the one when folks look back at Goosebumps. This is the one that does indeed give you goosebumps. I also got to say like the sequences, like say when like they're talking about the idea of the masks and all that, and the shopkeeper is talking about them and all that. It gives you that good like say element of horror, like especially for kids, and it works. I think it still is a like if I could get back on eBay right now, I would buy this. I really would. So, yeah. These are some classics. See you next time.